Testing. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So this weekend I was going to film some stuff, but just a lot happened, and I'll explain that here in just a second. But just know that some things are happening. Alright, so hopefully the sound is a little bit better because I put the microphone on the top of the camera. But I just got back from my first engagement shoot. Now this one was for photo. Those people were my buddy Seth and his now fiance Holly. I went to school with Seth when I went to the University of Mount Union. I saw him in the gym all the time, and our paths crossed again a couple of years after school because I started doing fitness stuff on Instagram, and he gave me a follow, I gave him a follow. And then a couple weeks ago, he called me and asked me if I would be up for shooting his proposal. So the way that he wanted to set it up was he told Holly, his now fiance, that they were going to have me come take photos of her doing some basketball stuff, and they were going to post the photos on Instagram and stuff and make them look really cool, because I've been wanting to do more stuff with fitness and sport-related content. And so what we did is around 4:15, I started shooting photos of her. We did some posing, and we did some free throws and some three-pointers. So he actually stepped away to go to the bathroom, and about 10 minutes later, he came back into the gym, and she was just shooting hoops whenever I was taking pictures, and I was super in the zone. And both of her parents and his mom and grandparents, they came in the doors, and she was like really confused as to what was going on. And he walked up from the other side, got down on one knee, and popped the question. Now, he was way over on the other side, probably going like this. He also texted me, but I didn't have my phone on me. I almost didn't get the shot because I was so into shooting the action that was going on that I didn't see Seth over on the other side of the gym waving his hands and trying to get my attention. So to put the icing on the cake, I wanted to get some video with a camera on the tripod and get him mic'd up and everything to get her reaction and get his reaction. But that didn't happen because I was caught off guard because I was so into the moment of catching the action shots. But we got what we needed, and we did a couple sessions after we had the family dinner and stuff. So everything went really great. Honestly, I was really nervous, but it was just like doing video at a wedding. Actually, it was a little bit easier because it was just snapshots. I'll tell you a little secret. If you start with video first, photos a lot easier afterward. So Friday night, I volunteered at a 5K that our church helped out with, and some of the proceeds actually went to our church, and that was in Hartville, Ohio. So fast forward to Saturday, I had my first wedding, and that was 2 hours away in Erie, Pennsylvania. It was right on the lake at a place called Lakeshore Country Club. Really beautiful place, and I had a second shooter for the first time. Now this was for the company that I'm working for or contracting for to shoot wedding films for. I won't be doing any editing, like I said before, but I got to shoot with a second shooter for the first time, and I will tell you that having a second shooter makes it so much easier. I don't have to lug all the equipment around all the time and worry about getting all the shots and worry about timeline. It's just so much better with a second shooter. Now the second shooter was actually the video director at the company that I'm working with, and she had to fly up from Miami because they're based in Miami. They started in Pittsburgh, then they moved to Miami, and I guess before COVID hit, they were doing like 600 weddings a year. They have like 5 editors in-house. They have like 20 videographers or whatever that work with them. The second shooter was pretty cool. Her name's Kat, and we probably will be working together again in a few weeks. So with that said, Time to go on a run because this weekend basically was a wash for running and lifting, and I've been feeling like I need to go on a run, and I'm back in the game. So I'll meet you guys at the track. And welcome to the track. I tricked you. You thought I was gonna run last night, but I didn't properly fuel myself and it had been a long weekend. So welcome to Monday morning. This is the grand old track, the Alliance High School track, which is about a half a mile from my house. I have a love-hate relationship with this track because this is where I get faster, but it's also where I suck very hard at the interval training that I do and the track workouts that I do that are very, very tough and that always have a very taxing effect on my body. So I thought instead of going and running a few miles and then coming back and talking about my workout, which I've done in previous videos, I would show you guys me actually running, because that's a lot more entertaining than me just talking about running. So with that said, let's lace up the shoes, hit a warm up, and then let's get into the workout. So today's workout is going to consist of just an easy 3 miles around the track. No real like heavy warm up or heavy pacing or anything. Just real easy MAF heart rate, about 155 to 160 heart rate, and we're just going to keep going around and around about 12 to 13 times until the watch says 3 miles. Every half a mile I'm going to take a sip of my G1M Sport that I'll be fueling with, and currently I have to pee, but there's like cameras and stuff, not including this one, but surveillance cameras like up on top of the poles and stuff, so I'm gonna have to hold it until I'm done. So this is going to be mentally taxing, but let's get into the run, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, so current update after doing a little bit of dynamic stretching. Everything feels a little tight. That's because I didn't really do any running or anything during the weekend, and that's coming back to bite me. But I just remembered, because I was looking over that way, I just remembered that there's porta potties here, so I won't have to hold my pee the entire time. So let's go to the bathroom and then we'll start the run.
I'm tired of waiting, lost while I'm sitting at home. Dream of a new destination, lust for something unknown. Oh, you better leave it alone, and you know I'd rather get up and go. How long can I lie around waiting for it? Sometimes you gotta walk out the door.
All right, 2 miles down. I'm gonna finish up the 3rd mile, but I thought I'd take you guys with me for one of the laps. So here we go. Never actually ran with the camera in my hand. I don't know how people could do it. Water bottle. Shoot. Nope. Got it. Anyway, oh, there goes the microphone. Got the microphone right here. Jeez. This isn't fun. What how do I'm struggling here, man. What's going on here? Oh boy. This is good, boy. What's going on? Oh wait, hold on. I think we got it. What's my pace looking like here? My pace is not good. Gonna make sure the microphone doesn't fall off again. I think we're okay for now. Like every once in a while, I just get to a point where like I'm doing my MAF heart rate, but for some reason like it just doesn't feel like I can get a full breath in. I don't know what that's about. I don't think it's asthma, like I said. I'm pretty fit. never had exercise-induced asthma or anything. Well, that said, my shoulder's starting to hurt. I'm gonna put you back on the tripod. Okay, we're all done. Got 3 miles in at an easy pace of 8:37 minutes per mile. The only bad thing about doing heart rate training is that if you don't have a really good heart rate monitor, or if you don't wash it and keep good care of it, then it'll get dirty and it won't really measure your heart rate until about 5 to 10 minutes in, depending on how much you sweat. And that's what happens with me. Like my first mile of every run, I try to auto-regulate it based on feel, just because the heart rate monitor doesn't really track it too well. And sometimes I go out a little too slow, sometimes I go out a little too fast. Some days where I'm feeling a little bit cramped up, like today, just felt really like stiff. And I think I went out a little bit too slow, but I couldn't really tell because the way I felt, I didn't really have any metrics to go off of. So heart rate training is definitely staying in the books. And because I was off for 3 weeks because of my foot injury, which by the way is feeling a lot better, I have to basically rebuild the endurance that I had for the past like 3 or 4 months, which really sucks because you can lose it really quickly. The cool thing is that if you go like 1 week without running, you can pick back up and it's not really that hard. But if you go like 2 weeks without running, then your endurance starts to go down and down and down. So one thing I wanted to mention real quick is that with me trying to do like vlogging and videos and stuff of me, like myself doing fitness stuff, it's really tough to get like cool experimental shots, like with the drone and with the camera and stuff, like things that I'm envisioning. It's hard to do that without somebody else. Now with the drone, if I had something like the DJI Mavic Air, Mavic Air 2, Mavic 2 Pro, there's something called Active Track. And with the one that I have, basically you can, with the other ones, you can track somebody and it just does it all on its own. But with mine, we have what's called follow modes. And it's kind of like that, but it's only like 10 or 15 seconds. And it's hit or miss whether it actually works or not. So that's what I was trying to do back on the track, but didn't really work out too well. But I did learn something new. So it is a few hours later. I'm all showered up and squeaky clean. And because this weekend was so full, I didn't have a chance to go and get groceries. So that's number 1 on the list today. Number 2, I have to go to UPS and return an ND filter that I rented from Borrow Lenses. Now, I was gonna try and rent a camera body and maybe another lens and an ND filter and another microphone, but because I wanted to keep costs as low as possible and get as much money as possible, get paid as much as I could without spending it on rental gear for this other company that I'm shooting for, I only rented an ND filter. The way that the rental company works is they'll send it out the night before and have next day shipping, which costs a lot of money. So a rental that could be $100 could become $200 really, really easily. So that's my plan, is to like save up as much as I can and put that toward getting the gear that I would usually rent, so that in the future I don't have to rent gear anymore until maybe a new camera body comes out in a couple of years that's meets my needs better than the one that I have right now. And number 3, I gotta go get more coffee because I'm completely out. And if you know, you know. Be a photographer, a filmmaker, or even just a coffee connoisseur, we need our fix. Stop 2, down. Now it's time for the coffee. So I went to pull out, and this FedEx truck guy just ram-jammed right up behind me. Tell you, can't catch a break today. Can't catch a break. Well, that was an endeavor, if I ever call it one. We should just call this episode the series of unfortunate things that are happening to me today. So I got in line with my coffee that I ground and my bottle of toothpaste, and there was an older lady that was in front of me that paid by check, because you can do that at Mark's. And of course, I had to wait. Okay, whatever. So I'm waiting there. She has about probably 10 bags of stuff. I'm waiting patiently. Well, then she didn't fill out the front of her card, or the front of her check. So then she has to fill out the front of her check. And then the lady has to process it behind the cash register. And then someone with alcohol was in the next lane over, and the cashier there wasn't old enough to do whatever you have to do for alcohol. So the cashier at the lane I was in, had to go over and help her. So I think I waited in line for 10 or 15 minutes. And let's just say I had to practice a lot of patience. So now that all 3 of those errands are done, let's make like a baby and head out. Alright, so I've started the process of uploading the 175 odd files that I need to upload for the company that I'm shooting for. And one thing that I have found incredibly useful, and it's mind-blowingly simple, is just writing down stuff on paper and making a checklist. There's a certain thing about it that, like, you get a dopamine rush when you write something down and you check it off or you cross it out. That it's no longer has to be done anymore. It's done, it's finished, and you can move on to the next thing. And writing things out is super, super useful and important because it helps you kind of lay out the goals that you have and the tasks that you have in really no particular order, but it helps you just get it out of your mind and at least start to formulate some way of how you're going to attack all of those things you need to do. Because if you have 100 things and you start thinking about every single thing that you have to do, odds are you're going to do none of them. Now, if you have 2 or 3 really complete tasks that you have to do, or even if you have a couple of things that you don't know where the end goal is going to be, but you know where you have to start, at least you can get started on them, and odds are you're going to get them finished better and faster than you thought. So instead of having paralysis by analysis, you have concrete things that are written down that you can attack. Grab yourself a notebook and a pen or a pencil and start writing things down. Alright, so I'm going to wrap the video here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and if you got this far, why don't you go ahead and put the American flag emoji, because it's the best. See you guys later.